There is also great wisdom in knowing when to speak and when to remain silent. Not every thought needs to be shared. Not every piece of information needs to be passed along. Sometimes silence is the most powerful response you can give. The less you reveal, the more control you have over your own life and the lives of those around you. If you are known as someone who keeps secrets, you will find that people will naturally open up to you in ways they would not with others. They will confide in you because they sense that you are a safe place, a person who will not use their vulnerability against them. And when people trust you, opportunities open, friendships deepen, business relationships strengthen, leadership positions become more accessible. The ability to guard what is private is a rare quality, and those who possess it rise above those who do not. Keeping secrets does not mean protecting wrongdoing. If you ever find yourself in a position where keeping a secret would cause harm, whether to yourself, to someone else, or to the greater good, then you must use wisdom to determine the right course of action. Integrity does not mean staying silent when injustice is being done. It means knowing the difference between what should be protected and what should be exposed for the sake of truth and righteousness. The lesson here is simple. Never reveal what has been entrusted to you. No matter how tempting, no matter how harmless it may seem, no matter how much you think it will not matter, keep your word. Be a person of honor. Let your reputation be built on trustworthiness. In a world where people talk too much, stand out as someone who knows the value of silence. In the end, it is not just about protecting the secrets of others. It is about protecting your own name, your own character, and your own future. One of the most important lessons in life is to never reveal your long-term goals to just anyone. Your dreams, your ambitions, and the vision you have for your future are not meant for public discussion. They are sacred, personal, and require protection. When you share your plans too soon, you expose them to opinions, doubts, and negativity from people who may not have your best interests at heart. Some will criticize, some will discourage, and others may even try to sabotage your progress. That is why keeping your goals to yourself until they are well on their way to becoming reality is a strategy of wisdom and self-preservation. Every great achievement begins as a small seed planted in the depths of your mind. It is delicate, fragile, and needs time to take root. If you share it too soon, you risk allowing the wrong voices to crush its potential before it has a chance to grow. The truth is, not everyone will understand your vision because it was not given to them. It was given to you. What seems possible in your heart and mind may seem impossible to others. People project their own fears, limitations, and failures onto you. They will tell you it cannot be done because they could not do it. They will try to pull you down because they do not have the courage to rise themselves. When you keep your goals private, you create a powerful internal focus. Instead of seeking validation or approval from others, you build confidence from within. You develop the discipline to move forward without needing external motivation. This is crucial because motivation that depends on outside encouragement is weak. It fades when people stop applauding. But when your drive comes from within, no obstacle, no setback, and no criticism can stop you. There is also a psychological reason why sharing your goals prematurely can be harmful. When you tell others about your plans, your brain experiences a sense of accomplishment before you have even started. It tricks you into feeling like you have already achieved something, reducing the urgency to take action. Many people talk about what they are going to do, but very few actually follow through. They get caught in the cycle of announcing, receiving a small amount of praise, and then losing momentum. Talking about your goals does not get you any closer to them. Action does. Another danger of revealing your goals too soon is that you invite unnecessary competition. The world is full of people who are waiting to take advantage of a good idea before it is fully formed. The moment you expose your plans, you risk someone else taking that information and using it for their own benefit. Many successful individuals understand this principle well. They work in silence, making progress without broadcasting every step. By the time people find out what they have accomplished, it is already too late to stop them. It is also important to understand that not everyone who listens to your dreams wants to see them succeed. Jealousy is real. People may smile in your face, but secretly hope you fail. They do not want to see you rise higher than them. When they hear about your goals, they may pretend to be supportive while secretly planting seeds of doubt in your mind. They may ask questions that make you second guess yourself. Are you sure that will work? What if you fail? Do you really think you can do that? Over time, these doubts can weaken your confidence and make you hesitate. Success requires a level of tunnel vision. You have to be so focused on your goal that outside opinions become irrelevant. You have to be so committed that no amount of criticism or skepticism can shake you. That is why the most successful people do not waste time explaining themselves to others. They let their results speak for them. When you succeed, people will see it for themselves. You will not need to convince anyone. Keeping your goals private also protects you from the pressure of expectations. When you announce your plans, people start watching, waiting, and judging. If things do not go as planned, they will be the first to remind you. They will ask why you have not achieved what you said you would. This pressure can create unnecessary stress and anxiety, making it harder for you to stay focused. But when you keep your goals to yourself, you work without pressure, adjusting your path as needed without outside interference. This does not mean you should never share your goals with anyone. There is a difference between sharing with the wrong people and sharing with the right ones. A mentor, a coach, or someone who has already achieved what you are working toward can offer valuable guidance. They can provide wisdom and insight that helps you avoid mistakes. But even then, you must be selective. Not everyone who seems supportive truly is. Some may give you advice that leads you in the wrong direction. Others may discourage you because they do not believe in themselves. The best approach is to take action first and talk later. Work in silence, make progress, and let the results speak for themselves. When you have achieved something, when your foundation is strong, then and only then should you share. By that time, it will not matter what people think because you will have already proven yourself. Many of the greatest success stories in history were built in secrecy. Entrepreneurs, inventors, and leaders often work behind the scenes for years before revealing their accomplishments. They do not waste time explaining their vision to those who cannot see it. They focus on the work, and by the time the world notices, they are already too far ahead to be stopped. Remember, your goals are like a flame. If you expose them too soon to the wrong wind, they will be extinguished before they ever have a chance to burn brightly. Protect them, nurture them. Let them grow in the darkness until they are strong enough to shine on their own. When you talk about your next move too soon, you also drain the energy needed to execute it. There is a strange psychological effect that happens when you tell others about your goals. You feel a sense of accomplishment just by speaking about them, even though you have not yet taken real action. This can lead to complacency, making you feel as though you have already achieved something when, in reality, nothing has been done. The more you talk, the less you do. The more you announce, the less motivation you have to prove yourself through action. Another danger of revealing your plans too early is that not everyone will celebrate them. Some will try to sabotage you, either out of jealousy, insecurity, or competition. There are people who do not want to see you rise because your success serves as a reminder of what they have not achieved. They may spread negativity, create obstacles, or even attempt to take your ideas and use them for themselves. When you move in silence, you eliminate these threats before they even have a chance to manifest. Consider the most successful people in history. They did not announce their plans before they were ready. They worked quietly, diligently, and strategically. They allowed their results to speak for them rather than empty words. They understood that success is built in the unseen moments, the late nights, the early mornings, the silent sacrifices that no one else witnesses. They did not seek approval or validation before acting. They let their actions command respect. Keeping your plans private also gives you the freedom to adjust, to refine, and to pivot without external pressure. When you announce your intentions, you feel obligated to stick to them, even if circumstances change. But when you keep them to yourself, you can adapt as needed without feeling the weight of outside opinions. You can take your time to perfect your craft, to learn from mistakes, and to ensure that when you finally reveal your work, it is undeniable in its excellence. There is power in mystery. When people do not know your next move, they cannot interfere with it. When they are unsure of your strategy, they cannot prepare against it. When they are unaware of your plans, they cannot ruin them before they begin. Moving in silence gives you control, it gives you the upper hand, and it keeps you focused on what truly matters, executing your vision rather than talking about it. So if you have a dream, a goal, a vision for your future, keep it close. Guard it with everything you have. Do not seek validation from others, because their approval is not what will make it a reality. Do not waste energy explaining yourself to those who do not understand your path. Instead, let your work do the talking. Let your results be the proof. Let your success be the announcement. And when the time is right, when you have built something solid, when your progress is undeniable, that is when you reveal your achievement. Not because you need recognition, but because you have already won. Because by then, nothing and no one can take it away from you. One of the most valuable lessons you can learn in life is to keep your deepest insecurities and weaknesses to yourself. In a world that often preys on vulnerability, sharing too much about your personal struggles can expose you to unnecessary harm. While it is important to seek help when needed, it is equally crucial to be mindful of who you confide in. Not everyone you speak to has your best interest at heart, and not everyone who listens to your pain is truly on your side. Some people appear supportive but secretly take pleasure in your struggles. Others may use your weaknesses against you when the time is right. That is why you must exercise wisdom in what you reveal and to whom. When you openly share your insecurities, you give people power over you. You hand them a weapon that in the wrong hands can be used to manipulate or undermine you. People remember your vulnerabilities, and some will wait for the perfect moment to use them to their advantage. If you tell someone about your fears, they may one day use those very fears to control or influence you. If you reveal your self-doubt, they may subtly remind you of it in moments when you need confidence the most. Even those who seem like friends can sometimes betray your trust when circumstances change. Another reason to guard your weaknesses is that people judge more than they understand. Society often favors strength and confidence, and when people sense insecurity, they may see you as less capable, less reliable, or even less worthy of certain opportunities. Employers, colleagues, and even friends may start treating you differently if they perceive you as weak. Instead of offering support, some may distance themselves, believing you cannot handle responsibility or pressure. Others may become condescending, acting as if they need to fix you rather than treating you as an equal. This does not mean you should bottle up your emotions or pretend to be perfect. Seeking guidance from a trusted mentor, counselor, or close loved one is different from openly discussing your struggles with anyone who will listen. There is wisdom in knowing the right time, place, and person to share your challenges with. True support comes from those who genuinely care, not from those who are simply curious about your pain. Moreover, your weaknesses are not permanent, they are areas of growth. The more you focus on strengthening yourself privately, the less power they hold over you. Instead of announcing your struggles to the world, work on them in silence. If you lack confidence, build your skills. If you struggle with fear, take small, courageous steps each day. If you have past traumas, seek healing in a way that does not require validation from others. Growth happens in the quiet moments when no one is watching. There is also a psychological advantage in maintaining a level of mystery about yourself. When people do not know your weaknesses, they cannot predict your limits. They cannot place you in a box or assume they have you figured out. This creates a sense of unpredictability that works in your favor. Those who underestimate you will be caught off guard when you rise above your challenges, and those who doubted you will have no choice but to respect your progress. When you refrain from sharing your weaknesses, you project confidence and strength, even when you are still working through challenges. Confidence is not about having no weaknesses. It is about knowing how to handle them without seeking unnecessary attention. People are naturally drawn to those who seem composed, resilient, and in control of their emotions. They respect those who navigate difficulties with grace rather than seeking sympathy. And let us not forget that the more you talk about your weaknesses, the more you reinforce them in your own mind. Words have power, and constantly speaking about your struggles can make them feel larger than they actually are. Instead of identifying with your limitations, shift your focus to your strengths. Remind yourself of the progress you have made rather than the difficulties you still face. Speak life into your journey rather than dwelling on the obstacles. Life will always present challenges, and everyone has weaknesses. The difference between those who rise and those who remain stuck is how they handle them. Protect your vulnerabilities. Work on them in private and present yourself to the world as someone who is continually growing, not someone who is defined by their struggles. Your power lies in what you choose to reveal and what you choose to keep to yourself. Not everything needs to be shared, and not everyone needs to know your battles. Strength is not in showing your wounds to the world. It is in healing them quietly and emerging stronger than ever before. One of the most important things you must learn in life is to never reveal the secrets entrusted to you. When someone shares their deepest thoughts, private struggles, or personal information with you, they are not simply giving you words, they are giving you trust. Trust is one of the most fragile and valuable things a person can offer, and once it is broken, it is nearly impossible to restore. The way you handle the secrets of others defines your character, your integrity, and the kind of person you are in the eyes of the world. People confide in you because they believe you are reliable, that you will respect their vulnerability, and that you will not misuse what they have shared. But the moment you take that information and pass it along to someone else, even under the guise of just talking, you become untrustworthy. You may not see the consequences immediately, but the damage is done. Word spreads, and soon enough, the person who confided in you will realize that their trust was misplaced. Once someone sees that you cannot keep their private matters safe, they will never look at you the same way again, and worse, your reputation will follow you. People will hesitate before telling you anything meaningful. They will keep their distance, knowing that whatever they say might not remain in your hands alone. Trust, once lost, is almost impossible to regain. A single mistake can erase years of credibility. Even if you believe the information is harmless or think it won't reach the wrong ears, you cannot predict how words travel. One conversation leads to another, and before you know it, something small becomes something destructive. The truth is, most people do not keep secrets the way they claim. They pass them along to someone they trust, who then tells someone they trust, and the cycle continues until what was once confidential becomes public knowledge. The world is filled with people who talk more than they listen, and if you are not careful, you may find yourself in the middle of a storm you never intended to create. Beyond the damage to others, revealing secrets also diminishes your own strength. A person who speaks too much about the private affairs of others is seen as unreliable, weak, and lacking self-control. The strongest individuals, the most respected leaders, and the most trusted friends are those who understand the power of silence. They do not need to prove their knowledge by exposing others. They do not seek attention by revealing what was meant to be hidden. Instead, they build their reputation on discretion, wisdom, and respect. There will always be moments when you feel tempted to share what you know. Maybe you want to impress someone with insider information. Maybe you think that by revealing a secret, you will gain closer bonds with another person. Or maybe you believe that sharing someone else's problems will make you look better in comparison. But in reality, every time you betray a confidence, you are not strengthening your position, you are weakening it. You are proving that you cannot be trusted. And in the long run, that will cost you far more than any temporary satisfaction. Keeping secrets is not just about protecting others. It is also about protecting yourself. When you develop the habit of guarding private matters, people begin to respect you more. They see you as someone of integrity, someone they can depend on. And in return, when you need someone to trust, you will have people in your life who will offer you the same level of confidentiality. Trust is a two-way street. If you do not protect the secrets of others, do not expect anyone to protect yours. Your dreams require quiet discipline. Instead of announcing your plans, work on them in silence. Let your results speak for you. There is incredible power in moving in secrecy, in working behind the scenes while everyone else is distracted. When no one knows what you're building, they cannot interfere. They cannot sabotage, discourage, or delay your progress. You maintain full control over your path, making adjustments as needed without the pressure of outside opinions. Consider the most successful people in the world: entrepreneurs, artists, inventors, leaders. Many of them did not publicize their plans while they were still in development. They worked tirelessly in the background, refining their craft, perfecting their vision, and preparing for the right moment. Then, when the time was right, they revealed their success to the world, fully formed and undeniable. There is also a deeper, more spiritual reason to keep your plans private. When you share your ambitions too soon, you expose them to energies that may not align with your success. Not everyone around you has good intentions. Some people carry jealousy, resentment, or even hidden competition. They may not express it openly, but their energy can interfere with your progress. Even words of doubt, spoken casually, can plant seeds of uncertainty in your mind. You must protect your vision from these negative influences, ensuring that only those who truly believe in you have access to your plans. Building something great requires patience and persistence. The early stages of any journey are the most fragile. This is when doubt creeps in, when obstacles appear, and when setbacks test your resolve. If you have announced your plans to the world, you may feel pressured to prove yourself too quickly, leading to rushed decisions and unnecessary stress. But if you move in silence, you give yourself the space to grow, to learn, and to refine your approach without external distractions. Another crucial point to understand is that success loves humility. When you keep your plans to yourself, you cultivate humility. You are not seeking validation or applause. You are focused on the work itself. You develop discipline, patience, and resilience, all of which are necessary for long-term success. When you finally achieve your goals, your results will be undeniable and the impact will be far greater than if you had simply talked about them. Your dreams are like a fire. If you expose them to too much wind before they are strong enough, they may burn out. But if you nurture them, protect them, and give them time to grow, they will become an unstoppable force. So be mindful of what you share and when you share it. Work in silence. Let success be your noise. And when the time is right, let your achievements speak for themselves. There are few things in life more powerful than your deepest fears and insecurities. These are the thoughts that keep you awake at night, the emotions that weigh on your heart, and the doubts that whisper in your mind when you try to move forward. Every single person has fears. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of not being good enough, fear of the unknown. But what separates those who succeed from those who remain stuck is not the absence of fear, but the ability to control it, to master it, and most importantly, to keep it private. One of the biggest mistakes people make is sharing their fears with the wrong audience. They believe that by expressing their insecurities to others, they will find comfort or support. But the truth is, not everyone is equipped to handle your fears with care. Some people may use your vulnerabilities against you, whether intentionally or unintentionally. Others may reinforce your doubts instead of helping you overcome them. Even those who mean well may give advice based on their own fears rather than on what is best for you. The reality is that most people view the world through the lens of their own experiences. If they have struggled with something, they may assume you will too. If they have been hurt, they may believe that you will be as well. When you share your fears with others, you run the risk of amplifying them rather than diminishing them. Instead of finding reassurance, you may find yourself drowning in even more uncertainty. And instead of feeling empowered, you may feel more discouraged than before. Fear is like a shadow. It grows larger when you focus on it. The more you talk about your fears, the more power you give them. Every time you repeat your insecurities to someone else, you reinforce them in your own mind. You start to believe in them more deeply, making them a bigger part of your reality. But when you learn to keep your fears to yourself, something incredible happens. You start to develop inner strength. You begin to face your fears rather than feed them. You learn that you are stronger than your doubts, that you have the ability to overcome whatever is holding you back. When you stop speaking about your fears, you take back control. You no longer give them the authority to dictate your actions or limit your potential. Instead of seeking external validation, you learn to trust yourself. You develop resilience, the ability to move forward despite uncertainty. And in doing so, you become the kind of person who thrives even in the face of adversity. The greatest leaders, the most successful entrepreneurs, and the most accomplished individuals in history all had fears. But they did not allow those fears to define them. They did not seek permission from others to pursue their goals. They did not ask for validation before taking risks. They understood that fear is a normal part of growth, but that it must be managed carefully. They knew that sharing their doubts with the wrong people could weaken their resolve. So instead, they focused on their vision, on their mission, and on taking action despite their fears. This does not mean that you must face your fears alone. There is wisdom in seeking guidance from the right people, mentors, trusted advisors, or those who have walked the path before you. But the key is to be selective. Not everyone deserves access to your inner world. Not everyone has earned the right to hear your doubt. Choose wisely who you confide in, and even then be mindful of how much you reveal. When you learn to keep your fears private, you cultivate a quiet confidence. You no longer feel the need to explain yourself to others. You stop looking for approval and instead focus on progress. You become the master of your own emotions, no longer a prisoner to the opinions of those around you. And in time, you discover that the very fears you once believed were obstacles were actually stepping stones to your greatest achievements. So whatever fears you carry, whatever insecurities weigh on you, remember this: you have the power to overcome them. You are stronger than you think. You do not need the world to validate your struggles. You do not need to broadcast your doubts to seek comfort. Instead, turn inward, find strength within yourself. Face your fears with courage, with determination, and with the quiet assurance that you are capable of rising above them. One of the most important things you should never share with anyone is the depth of your kindness and generosity. In a world where people often take advantage of others, it is essential to guard your heart and the way you give. Being kind is a beautiful trait, but when you constantly broadcast your generosity, you invite the wrong kind of attention. People start to expect things from you, and some may even manipulate you for their own benefit. Kindness should be given freely, but not foolishly. The moment you make your generosity public, it stops being about genuine giving and starts attracting those who only see you as a resource. There are people who will pretend to be your friend, who will act like they care just to gain access to what you can offer. Some will guilt trip you into giving more, making you feel bad if you say no. Others will make you feel responsible for their problems, expecting you to always be there to fix their lives. And once they see that you are willing to help, they will keep coming back, not because they appreciate you, but because they see you as an easy option. When you constantly share how much you give, you also risk making people dependent on you instead of helping them grow. True kindness empowers others to stand on their own, but when people begin to expect your generosity, they stop trying to improve their own lives. They come to you for solutions instead of finding their own. They take the easy route because they know you will be there to catch them when they fall. And in the end, your kindness ends up being taken for granted rather than appreciated. Another reason to keep your generosity private is that when you give openly, it can create resentment in those around you. People may start comparing what you do for others versus what you do for them. Some may question why you helped one person but not another. Instead of recognizing your good heart, they begin to judge your choices, creating unnecessary tension and misunderstanding. Some may even accuse you of showing favoritism, damaging relationships in ways you never intended. Furthermore, when you announce your acts of kindness, it can sometimes diminish their true value. Genuine generosity does not seek recognition. It does not require applause or validation. When you give from the heart, the reward comes from within, not from external praise. But when people begin to see your generosity as a performance, they may doubt your intentions. They may assume that you only help others to gain social approval rather than out of true compassion. This can lead to skepticism and even criticism, making your kindness seem less meaningful. True power lies in silent giving. The strongest people are those who do good without needing the world to know. They help in secret, expecting nothing in return. They understand that real generosity is not about being seen, it is about making a difference. It is about lifting others up in ways that empower them, not just in the moment, but for the long run. It is about giving people the tools to help themselves, rather than simply handing out solutions. And when you keep your kindness private, something extraordinary happens. You attract people who appreciate you for who you are, not just for what you can give. You build relationships based on true connection rather than transactional exchanges. You protect yourself from those who only see you as an opportunity, and you maintain control over your own boundaries. There will always be those who take advantage of a kind heart, but by keeping your generosity quiet, you make sure that your kindness remains a strength, not a weakness. You ensure that what you give is truly valued and that the people you help are those who genuinely deserve it. So be kind, be generous, but do so wisely. Let your actions speak louder than your words. Give not for recognition, but because it is who you are. And most importantly, protect your heart from those who would misuse your goodness. Because at the end of the day, true kindness is not about how much you give. It is about how much of a difference you make, even when no one is watching. One of the greatest mistakes you can make in life is revealing your next move before it is fully realized. There is a powerful force in keeping your plans to yourself, a strength in moving in silence, and a discipline in resisting the urge to announce your ambitions to the world before they come to fruition. The truth is, when you share your plans prematurely, you open the door to unnecessary interference, unwanted opinions, and even silent opposition from people who may not want to see you succeed. The moment you speak about your next move, you invite expectations from others. People start watching you, judging your progress, questioning your methods. Some may pretend to support you while secretly hoping you fail. Others may attempt to discourage you, filling your mind with doubt, telling you all the reasons why your plan will not work. And even those who genuinely care about you might unintentionally project their own fears onto your dreams. They may tell you to be realistic, to play it safe, to think smaller, because they themselves are afraid of taking big risks. Every great achievement starts with an idea, a vision that must be protected in its early stages. Imagine planting a seed. If you keep exposing it to harsh conditions before it has a chance to take root, it will never grow strong. But if you nurture it in the right environment, shield it from destructive forces, and allow it the time it needs to develop, it will flourish into something remarkable. Your plans work the same way. They need time to grow before they are exposed to the world. Ladies and gentlemen, in life, wisdom is not just about what you know. It's about what you choose to share and what you choose to keep private. Too often we think that openness is a sign of strength, but in reality, discretion is power. The most successful and fulfilled people understand that not everything needs to be shared. So today, let me give you 10 things you should never share with anyone if you want to protect your peace, maintain your success, and live a life of purpose. There is immense power in moving in silence. Many people sabotage their own success not because they lack talent, intelligence, or effort, but because they speak too soon. They share their dreams and ambitions with people who do not believe in them, people who do not have their best interests at heart, or people who project their own fears and limitations onto them. When you announce your goals before they manifest, you open yourself up to unnecessary criticism, doubt, and negative energy. The truth is, not everyone will be happy for you. Some will secretly hope you fail. Some will question your abilities, planting seeds of uncertainty in your mind. Others will steal your ideas and work against you. This is why it is crucial to protect your dreams and keep your plans to yourself until they are fully developed. When a seed is planted, it does not immediately sprout into a tree. It stays beneath the soil in complete darkness, growing roots and building a strong foundation. If you dig up the seed too soon, expose it to harsh conditions before it is ready, you will kill its potential. Your dreams work the same way. They need time to develop, to grow roots in your mind, to be nurtured with consistent effort, discipline, and faith before they can stand strong on their own. If you reveal them too soon, you risk destroying them before they ever have a chance to bloom. Many people feel the need to share their goals as a way of seeking validation. They want others to affirm their ambitions, to tell them they are on the right path, to cheer them on. But true confidence does not come from external approval. It comes from within. If you need validation before you even begin, you may not have the resilience to push through when challenges arise. Instead of looking for approval, focus on execution. Let your results be your response. There is also a psychological phenomenon known as the premature sense of accomplishment. When you tell people about your goals, Your brain experiences a sense of reward as if you have already achieved them. This false sense of progress can make you less likely to follow through with real action. Your mind tricks you into believing you are further along than you actually are, reducing your motivation to put in the necessary work. This is why some people talk about their plans for years but never take action. They become addicted to the illusion of progress rather than the reality of discipline and effort. Successful people understand this principle well. They move in silence, allowing their work to speak for itself. They do not waste energy trying to convince others of their potential. Instead, they focus that energy on improving their skills, refining their strategies, and making tangible progress. They know that results are undeniable. When you succeed, the world will take notice. You will not need to explain, defend, or justify your journey. Your achievements will do that for you. Another reason to keep your goals private is that unexpected challenges will arise. When you start working towards something great, you will encounter obstacles you never anticipated. There will be setbacks, failures, and moments of doubt. If you have already announced your plans to the world, you may feel pressured to appear successful even when things are not going well. This pressure can lead to stress, anxiety, and poor decision-making. But if you keep your goals to yourself, you give yourself the freedom to adapt, to change direction if necessary, to learn from your failures without the weight of external expectations. Some of the most successful people in history followed this principle. They did not broadcast their ambitions to the world. They worked quietly, consistently, and strategically. They allowed their discipline and determination to build their future. When their success became visible, it was because they had already put in the years of effort behind the scenes. Consider the story of Thomas Edison. He did not go around telling people how many inventions he planned to create. Instead, he spent thousands of hours in his laboratory, experimenting, failing, and trying again. When he finally succeeded, the world recognized his genius, not because he talked about it, but because he proved it through his work. The same principle applies to athletes, entrepreneurs, artists, and visionaries in every field. They understand that the journey to success is private, and that talking about their plans prematurely only invites distractions, negativity, and unnecessary pressure. This does not mean you should never share your dreams with anyone, but be selective. Choose mentors, trusted advisors, and those who genuinely want to see you win. These people can offer guidance, wisdom, and support, but avoid sharing your goals with those who do not contribute to your growth. Not everyone deserves access to your vision. Instead of seeking approval, seek progress. Instead of announcing your next move, take the next step. Instead of explaining your plans, execute them. Let your actions speak louder than words, and when the time is right, let your success be the proof of your dedication. So I encourage you, be wise with your words. Protect your dreams as you would protect a delicate flame. Nurture them in silence. Feed them with discipline, and let them grow strong before you expose them to the world. When you do this, you will not only increase your chances of success, but you will also move with confidence, peace, and purpose. Life is full of challenges, and no one is exempt from facing difficulties. At some point, we all go through struggles. Whether it's financial trouble, health issues, family problems, or personal setbacks, it is natural to feel the urge to share our burdens with others, to seek comfort, advice, or even validation. However, there is wisdom in knowing when to speak and when to remain silent. Not everyone who listens to your problems truly cares, and not everyone who offers advice has your best interests at heart. One of the biggest mistakes people make is assuming that others will understand their pain or be willing to help. The truth is, most people are dealing with their own struggles. They are preoccupied with their own lives, their own battles, and their own priorities. While some may listen to you out of politeness, very few will genuinely care enough to offer meaningful support. And even fewer will have the ability to actually solve your problems. Talking about your struggles too often can also create a negative image of you in the minds of others. Whether you realize it or not, people form opinions based on what you share. If you constantly speak about your difficulties, you may be perceived as weak, incapable, or even a burden. This can affect your relationships, your career, and your reputation. People respect those who demonstrate resilience, those who handle their problems with strength and determination rather than seeking sympathy. There is also the danger of exposing your vulnerabilities to the wrong people. Not everyone who listens to your struggles is your friend. Some people secretly enjoy seeing others in distress. They may pretend to be concerned, but in reality, they are gathering information to use against you later. There are those who will gossip about your problems, spreading your struggles to others for their own entertainment. Others may even manipulate your situation, using your hardships to gain an advantage over you. Another important reason to keep your problems private is that constantly talking about them can reinforce negative emotions. The more you discuss a problem, the more power you give it over your mind. Instead of focusing on solutions, you may find yourself dwelling on the difficulties, feeling overwhelmed and helpless. Your words shape your reality, and if you repeatedly talk about your struggles, you will begin to see yourself as someone who is stuck rather than someone who is capable of overcoming obstacles. Successful people understand the power of resilience. They do not allow their struggles to define them. Instead of broadcasting their problems to the world, they focus on finding solutions. They take action, seek wisdom from trusted mentors, and work quietly behind the scenes to turn their difficulties into opportunities for growth. They understand that life is full of ups and downs and that challenges are temporary. Rather than seeking pity, they build the strength needed to rise above their circumstances. This does not mean that you should suffer in silence or never ask for help. There are times when seeking guidance from the right people is necessary, but the key is to be selective. Choose to share your struggles with those who are truly capable of offering wisdom, encouragement, or assistance. These are people who have your best interests at heart. Mentors, close family members, or trusted friends who have proven themselves over time. It is also important to remember that no matter what you are facing, you have the power to overcome it. Every difficulty carries within it a lesson, an opportunity to grow stronger, wiser, and more resilient. Many of the greatest success stories in history are built on a foundation of struggle. The difference between those who succeed and those who remain stuck is not the absence of problems, but the mindset with which they approach them. Instead of focusing on what is wrong, shift your focus to what you can control. Ask yourself, what steps can I take to improve my situation? What lessons can I learn from this experience? How can I use this challenge to become a better, stronger version of myself? When you approach problems with this mindset, they lose their power over you. You become the master of your circumstances rather than a victim of them. Another benefit of keeping your struggles private is that it allows you to heal and grow without external pressure. When you constantly talk about your problems, you invite opinions, judgments, and unsolicited advice from others. This can be confusing and even discouraging. But when you handle your difficulties privately, you give yourself the space to process your emotions, reflect on your situation, and make decisions that are best for you without outside interference. Consider the example of great leaders, entrepreneurs, and high achievers. Many of them have faced incredible hardships, financial ruin, health crises, personal betrayals, but you rarely hear them complain. They understand that talking about their struggles does not change their reality. Action does. They choose to rise above their circumstances, to learn from their pain, and to use their experiences to inspire and uplift others. You have that same power within you. You are stronger than your struggles, wiser than your mistakes, and more capable than you realize. Do not allow temporary difficulties to define you. Do not seek validation through sympathy. Instead, build yourself up. Find solutions and move forward with quiet determination. When you learn to handle your struggles with wisdom and discretion, you gain something far more valuable than temporary comfort. You gain self-respect, inner strength, and the ability to rise above any challenge that life throws your way. Let your resilience be your testimony, and let your actions speak louder than words. Your biggest dreams, ambitions, and future plans are sacred. They are the seeds of your destiny. And like any seed, they need the right environment to grow. One of the most important lessons in life is learning when to keep your plans private. The mistake many people make is announcing their dreams to the world too soon, sharing their aspirations with friends, colleagues, or even family members without realizing that not everyone will support them. Some may criticize, some may doubt, and others may even work against you, whether consciously or unconsciously. And when you talk about your plans before they have materialized, you expose them to unnecessary judgment. People will project their fears, insecurities, and limited thinking onto you. If they have failed in a similar pursuit, they will tell you why it won't work. If they don't believe in themselves, they will tell you that you are being unrealistic. Some will even laugh at you, not out of malice, but because they cannot see what you see. They are trapped by their own limitations, and they will try to impose those same limits on you. Another danger of revealing your plans too soon is that it can drain your motivation. Psychology has shown that when you talk about your goals, your brain gets a premature sense of accomplishment. The praise and encouragement you receive from others can trick you into feeling like you've already achieved something, when in reality, the work hasn't even begun. This false sense of progress can reduce your drive to take real action. Instead of focusing on execution, you get caught up in seeking approval, and before you know it, your motivation fades.